Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For STIBO 1 and 2 sessions, I hope you got a very good exposure on these first two sessions. Now the session 3 is about data modeling. So the data modeling is about like how you are efficiently managing, storing the master data about the customer, master data about the supplier. So all master data, how you're efficiently storing and retrieving and efficiently uh, creates this master data. As we know, we have a different domains like a customer, supplier, location, store, warehouse, as a different domains. So it depends like how the customer want to store master data into this, how to manage the master data. It is based on the requirement. So this session will explain like how efficiently storing, retrieving, and efficiently creates a master data into the STIBO system. As stated before, the data is to be stored. As stated before in the previous session, the data is to be stored in an organized way, so that we can avoid the duplicates, or we can remove the unnecessary flows, unnecessary data. So it will be structural way of organized, following some certain principles of the data to manage the data. So for that you have a different types of data model. So we are going to explore in the next slide. These are the uh, so we are going to cover these topics, so that we can manage this different data types models. What is primary hierarchy, tree navigator, system setup navigator, and what is the types of object structures, attribute groups. So these will the data modeling will helps to store the data in a some following some certain principle, and how the master data can be organized. Here I'm going to give some examples related to the retail project domains, but it will be a little different for other domains like banking, manufacturing, a little bit different. But here the context I'm going to give in terms of retail domains like a products, supplier, the stores, warehouses, and locations. So these are the domains for in terms of like where we have retail projects use these domains. So and also this STIBO tool, STIBO step tool is most of the projects is from our retail only, retail background projects. The STIBO step will be used. The primary hierarchy. The primary hierarchy which classifies the products uniquely. So basically, these primary hierarchy we will represent in a blue folder. So it tells that it's like a basic step for defining the any hierarchy, so that it will has unique, and defining any products is like uniquely and correctly. And it is advisable to use only one. Okay, so it shouldn't be duplicated. And for any other classification, you can make it as a take a reference like a classification, or a warehouse hierarchy, brand hierarchy, asset hierarchy. So this can be like a alternative classifications. It can be a direct classification, it can be alternative classification. Alternative classification, I think I already explained you in a previous session, but it is alternative classification is something like when you're searching the product, it's retrieving the product in a different way of product. So though if you retrieve the milk, either it can be through organized um, organic milk or the normal milk. So it can be searched through based on the hierarchy type. So it's an alternative route to find out the product. It is a that's we call as an alternative classification. So it can be defined as a classification or alternative classification. The primary hierarchy you can define as a, so generally the products you define as a primary hierarchy, and because it's unique, to create a uniqueness and to make sure the proper master data will be stored is a hierarchy. So hierarchy in this structure is like a structure. It has a relation like a parent child and grandchild, like the relation to make it. So the primary hierarchy will be blue folder, and the classification or alternative classification will be in a yellow folder. So the blue folder will have only one folder because it's a primary hierarchy, it's unique. And the classification folder, yellow folders, if you look at the system setup tree, so you can see multiple yellow folders. So it means that it can have alternative classifications anytime, so more than once. So all alternative classifications you can define as the warehouse hierarchy, asset hierarchy, supplier hierarchy, sales hierarchy, as a brand hierarchy. All you can define is in many ways, so, as an alternative classification. The next data model entity is attributes. Attribute is a, tells the character and the detail and gives a detailed information about the particular object. Okay, for example, if you take it as a apple juice, so it the product should have a detailed information about what is the fat content, what is the nutrition, what is the percentage of water, what is the percentage of actual fruit. So all you need to give a clear information, and the clear information is to be stored as part of the product. So that product, it has like attributes like what's the country of origin, is seasonal, a seasonal fruit juice, what is the dimensions, like a weight, like how many milliliters, it's a 900 ml or it's a 500 ml. So all you have to be um, is stored as part of the attributes. Okay, and the second one is attribute group. So you can make as a group. So like seasonal attributes is one of the group. It's non-seasonal is one of the other group. So it can make a difference of because we should not mix each other, so make a clear attributes, like in case of anything you want to be navigate, it has to be clear picture, so that we should have a create a attribute group based on the type of the character. Seasonal can be, it can be a country specific, it can be a package, it can be measures. So you need to group together. And also the attributes also give the information about the country specific, like so every country will maintain a different legal compliances, languages, and so yeah, based on that you need to, so you need to create a attribute for the products. So basically it's the basic building block for a products, the attributes, so that it have a clear picture, unique, and it has follows the organized structure in while storing the master data. So the next attribute is dimensions. Okay, so spelling mistake. So the dimensions is country specific, like about the tax information, legal information. So all it can be stored. It is country specific. So it has one of the important attribute for storing any market information, nature of the like uh, where this originated from. So everything will be and what is the like length, width, all the dimensions can be stored here in these attributes. And context is a group of dimensions. It's a combination of multiple dimensions is a context. So it's a context is can be like US, English is grouping. So English, Australia is like grouping. It's a combination of one or more than one multiple dimensions. Basically, it's a common the dimensions like country is same, but the dimensions country is different. The dimensions are same. So we can use as a common and as a common attribute for a country specific like a list of all countries and as well context as well. So the dimension point here is uh, country. So it's India and for and Australia. It's like a dimension point is a country. Workspace. So there are two workspaces in STIBO. So main workspace and approved workspace. So the main workspace is kind of a like initial version of like the product and data and it will data. So that's the initial version. You can call as a draft version. Okay. So once this approval approved, the flow is approved. The product when you see the revision, so it's approved. So then it goes to the approved workspace. It means that once it is goes to the approved workspace, you can't change unless it is rejected. So main all the work it has to be done in the main workspace. So any revision. So as part of this process, it may be created like one the version numbers. So it manages the version numbers as well. So as soon as it's created in workspace and you may modify it, it can be a 1.1, it can be 1.2. So finally, it goes to the 1.5 version into the approved one. It's a final version. I'm going to show like one example for how the product primary hierarchy would be. So there's a system setup, product primary hierarchy. So generally the product primary hierarchy can be like 4 to 5 levels. So as per the current standard, but it should has a minimum is one level, like a child and parent, one child and one parent, and a maximum can be any number of levels. 1, 2, 3, and finally the final product will be stored here. So these are the hierarchy of the basic product primary hierarchy. For applying like this data model, so these are the classification level. They're not using at the classification level. The relations actually start from the product to product. So here it's a object type. Here object type 1. Here is object type 2. Type 3, and the actual products will be here. As soon as you create the PPH product primary hierarchy, the same thing will be created. The same structure will be created in a as a tree structure in a tree tab. So the level 1. So if you take it as a retail application, so generally have groceries, non-food. Okay, so groceries can be vegetables, it can be fruits, can be type of like meat. So these are the uh, groceries. So it's parts of a level 1. So groceries, it can be considered as an object level, as a level 1. Okay, so yes, type 1, 2, 3. Sure. So vegetable comes as a, groceries come as an object type 1. So and vegetables again it comes as an object type 2. Okay, and in the vegetables we have potato. No, we have defined another object type. So in vegetable category, you can say like frozen, chilled, fresh vegetables, and you have this comes as object type 3 comes as this again category. Then object type comes as a vegetable. So like that, you need to define your object types based on the business. Okay, and finally the product here. And you have another object type. It's like frozen. You can put another uh, object type, like in the frozen. You can say like uh, sweet, like organic. In our okay, organic. No. So you can define this based on the business. So like different object types, and so we are creating a hierarchy. So why is really required hierarchy? So um suppose you have like thousands of products for any application. So for any organization, so you need to manage the master data in an efficient way. So we can create as a direct product. It's like groceries, 100 products, fruits, 100 products, meat, 50 products. So you can create as an individual product. But if you create like that, it is no much maintainable, and it not be a good practice. So why we are creating a hierarchy is to, you can modify or update or delete at the root level. Okay, groceries. So it's applicable for all groceries and vegetables. So if you are trying to update or try to modify, so it's applicable for a vegetable hierarchy. So you don't need to modify and update for each and every product in a vegetable. So you can update at the root level. That's why we are creating a hierarchy and a classification. So that is the basic advantage of creating a hierarchy rather than creating as an individual product. Here is a system navigator, so where we can define our object types and structure here, and also we can define contacts, LOVs, workflows, assets, units. So everything we can define here in the system setup navigator. We have here workspace as well. So works, I think you previously mentioned like main workspace and approve workspace. So all workspace we can define here. Um, Different types, the product relations. So we are going to explore more on it. So how we can create a references. So we are going to explore it more on this. So these are the where we can create all we can define here in a system setup navigator. Yeah, this is a primary hierarchy. That's like it has tree structures. So as soon as the system setup is created, see the structure, you can see it in a tree tab here, the product primary hierarchy, and it has the levels, various levels, and finally you can see the products. So so it can be, yeah, it's basically it's representing, as I said before, is a blue folder structure. So this is symbolic. We can see easily identify that. It's, okay, and it is linked to the product attributes. It can be warehouses, stores, organizations, and also as stated before, it supports this attribute inheritance as well. Attribute is a detailed piece of information, or like the relation between the two objects. So you can define in terms of a attribute. It can be a grouped attributes and a group together. So if the attributes are belongs to the same category, so you can group together. Generally, when you are creating attribute, there are two types of attributes: specification attributes and description attributes. So it asks the category. So why is uh, it's like, are you creating attribute for a specification or a description? So specification attributes is applicable for a product, and but description of attribute is both applicable to the product, classification, and hierarchies. So it is again based on when you are creating a master data dictionary, you can see that like, okay, you can add it, and based on that you can create a attribute if it belongs to the which category, like specification or a description attributes. And also the another advantage is supports the inheritance. The specification attributes is like values can be inherited to product hierarchy. So that's a advantage. The specification attribute, while creating it, you need to define when you are uh, creating for it, because it's applicable for product, you need to define the location, and you have to be, generally you give the validity and link the product to the classification. So this is mandatory for a specification attributes, but a description attributes you don't need to link it, just give the validity, that's it. So that's when you are creating it, it may there is options in a step tool before you are creating attribute and assigning, linking the product. Example for specification attributes and description attribute can be like so the specification attribute can be created like object type of like a level 1, so that it will be inherit and come to the all at the product level. So because of the inheritance, it all will come here, so that you can define as a specification attribute. For a description attribute, it can define because it is no inheritance, it's restricted to the product, so most likely to be applied at the last level of description attribute. So it is again based on the business decision. So whether you want to go for a level 1 or restrict to the level 2, level 3, level 4 or products, you can define, you can decide that whether you are creating a specification attribute or a description attribute.